Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today, as I promised before, we will do review primer level 1 and level 4 adults. So let's start with primer level. Primer level is for kids, I would say till like 6 or 7 years old. If you just give this to some teenager, they will not be enjoying it that much. So primer level, I would say it's even better than Alfred's Level 1A book. This book, I would say, works much better for beginners. The introduction of notes on the stuff, it's gradual and gives students a chance to absorb 1 to 3 notes at a time before introducing others. For example, the Alfred book shows off all 5 notes in C position at once and only give them 1 song for each hand before students are expected to read the grand stuff, which means treble and bass clef with all 5 notes on each stuff. For many young beginners, I would say that is a really overwhelming and they end up struggling with note readings. This book, Fiber's primer level, emphasizes skips and steps. While you come across a couple fifths here and there, they are not formally labeled as fifths. This allows students the chance to get comfortable understanding the stuff and the difference between step and skips before overwhelming them with intervals after that. So the first half of the book is pre-reading, which means without notes, kids will just learn which note is low on the line or above the line. So I'm usually doing this with really young beginners, and that way they can play on their black keys. I honestly love having the option to use all these pages for young beginners who need more time to understand the connections between rhythm, the letters on the key, their hands. But if you have fast learners or some who is 8 or 9 year old, you want to skip these songs. And at the end, I would say that there are many songs for teachers to play duet with kids, which are great for blend songs because there are plenty of those. Helping kids develop their sense of rhythm and maybe allowing beginners to have fun. I would say that my students do better when they start with this book rather with Alfred's 1A book. But I would say if you have an older beginner or one with some experience reading music, this book will probably be too easy for them, and they will try to race right through that book. After primer level, if you're having some older students or someone who is really like fast learner, I would suggest you to start with Fiber level 1. So I would say that first of all, this book is not for beginners, for young beginners. So I would say if you have someone who is already know how to read right hand or how to read bass clef, or at least have some knowledge of music, then you can definitely start with this level. I would say that this book is hands down the best that I have seen for a crucial mix of pedagogy, fun, and variety in songs. For example, Bastian books, which I have few students working on that one, it takes a while to add real variety. So the newer kid-targeted Alfred books are a good alternative to these, but the older adult Alfred books are a miserable mix of musical monotony. So that's something that you need to consider too. There needs to be harmonic and melodic variety, or else students will not be inspired. The pacing of the Fiber books is pretty slow for the young students these days. They are designed for someone who doesn't practice every day or isn't fully invested in music, which, let's be honest, that's a realistic approach given the current students who is overscheduled and isn't committed or to regular music practice. For more motivated students, I would say start with Fiber for the older beginner series, and it goes much faster in its pacing and the illustration and song selections are appropriate for older students. If you're using the Basic Piano Adventure series, keep in mind that these are really made for young students, especially the first few books. But if you're starting off with a third or fourth grader, they will not be impressed because they are lacking cool in the books. Level 1 jumps right into playing with both hands. And at the end, let's talk a little bit about adult level as well. I do like only level 1 for adults, honestly, because I think that it's a perfect book for adult students or seniors, someone who wants to learn piano but doesn't have time to just go really slowly, because this book will start from the beginning, but it's really fast-pacing book. Here's no two adorable graphics which are found in the children's beginning books. It's difficult to find good beginning books for adults, and this book is just challenging enough to hold their interest, but at the same time it has enough repetition of concepts that a student doesn't get overwhelmed. It's a great group for adults of any age, plus it's good for older children or teens. I need to say that if you practice for about 30-40 minutes every day, and you will definitely see the amount of progress. That's what we talked today is just lesson books. So keep in mind that Alfred is offering performance, recital, music theory, and I think there's one more that I forgot. Sorry. But I would say lesson book is just enough, because there you will have all these new units, and then songs will be having that inside that you just learned. But keep in mind that all these books are, if you plan to make the best progress, then you need to find a teacher who will actually unlock that necessary door for you and help you accelerate your progress and reach your goal much faster. I hope that you like this video. Please let me know what's from your experience, the best book that you started with, how much progress did you make, and all that. And then